So, panel, it's been a bit of a wild world since we last met. Owen, hasn't it, with the Trump and all that?
It is all kickingoff.com, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, I worry. I've written this column, which has not gone up for the Guardian about this, about the dark place the United States is heading in.
Yeah, well, we just had developments in the last 12 hours or so, because Trump has appeared the first time since he survived the assassination attempt with obviously a very, very large bandage on his right ear. This is the Republican National Convention. It's in Wisconsin. He was formally named as the party's presidential candidate, got his sons on board, and lots of others. He didn't speak, actually, not in this occasion. He will in due course. Earlier, he said he was only saved by luck or by God after the shooting by 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks in Pennsylvania on Saturday. He also said in a social media post he would unite America so long as the witch hunt against him stopped. Well, I'm sensing he's moderating his tone. It's quite interesting.
He seems to be, which is really interesting. He's definitely trying to appeal to a larger number of people.
But as a result of the shooting, though?
I think his popularity has significantly increased as a result of the shooting. He's effectively now become, we've had this hero's welcome that we saw at the Republican National Convention. He's now been formally named the Republican nominee. And I actually think what's really interesting about this is Trump himself is changing his language, adapting that language, and trying to appeal to a wider audience. But again, we've got to remember the kind of person that he is. He's an authoritarian, and he's a Republican figure that actually won't bring the country into good futures. But actually thinking about that from a wider perspective, what that means for America's future. Politics seems to be so polarised. The fact that your choices between Biden.
Well, you say polarised. I don't know what Biden stands, and as Trump says about Biden, I didn't understand his last sentence, and I don't think he did either.
Well, look, the fact the Democrats...
That's a good impression.
the fact that Democrats are still seriously putting Joe Biden up, who most people look at and think, this guy is mentally collapsing in front of us. What's he going to be like in a year, given where he's at the moment? And they're going to hand American democracy on a platter to Donald Trump. Let's be clear, however he's speaking now, in the last few months, he said he's going to lock up his opponents. He's floated cancelling the US Constitution. He's talked about military tribunals where his opponents will be hauled up and all the rest of it. His entourage has been purged of all the people who were relative moderates, whatever those moderates meant in practice. These are right-wing extremists. And, you know, there was this book published 90 years ago called It Can't Happen Here. And it was a book written by this incredible American writer. His wife was a journalist in Europe who interviewed Hitler and was kicked out of Nazi Germany. And it was about a right-wing fascist demagogue coming to pound the United States, like in Europe. And the whole idea was, well, we think it can't happen here, but could it? I think America now is closer to that point than it's ever been in its 250... He's an authoritarian right-wing demagogue who is leading a radicalised extremist movement.
Have a look at this.
He's a threat to democracy.
Have a look at this headline. It's got this on. So this is the New European. It says, the bullet hit Trump, but it killed Joe Biden.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think politically,
isn't that amazing?
Trump is so much more popular now as a result, and a lot of the blame, and I think wrongly, rightly or wrongly, but the blame is being shifted on the Democrats, on CNN, on the kind of left-wing media establishment that have effectively made Trump out to be some kind of literal fascist.
Well, yeah, but
he's a right-wing.
Hang on. I just want to say he chose his running mate yesterday, and the guy who was his running mate had been really rude about him. His name is J.D. Vance. He's in the blue tie there. He's a senator from Ohio. He once compared Trump to Hitler, and this is more of what he had to say in a series of interviews in 2016 and 2017.
I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him. As somebody who doesn't like Trump, I might have to hold my nose and vote for Hillary Clinton. I didn't vote for Trump because I can't stomach Trump. I think that he's noxious.
Well, isn't that weird? So
I think it's wonderful that he's. Well, I think it's really good. Sorry, that Trump is effectively aligning with people that will not just be yes men.
No. Honestly, no. That guy's radicalised. That guy's nothing like he was there at all.
Well, he's lost weight.
He has lost weight.
He did a speech the other day in which he said we've been debating whether what the first Islamist country to have nuclear weapons will be. Will it be Iran? Will it be Pakistan? He said no. Britain. Now Labour have taken over. He is somebody who has floated the idea, which is popular amongst hard right circles in the United States, that America is now like the late Roman Republic in need of a Caesar. He is somebody who is a right-wing authoritarian. He said that Trump needs to fire every US civil servant and replace them with what he calls our people.
Okay.
That guy you heard is nothing like he was before.
But as Reem was saying, some of the blame for the violence and the assassin's bullet is an example of that, goes to the left as well.
No.
And no, hang on. I want to. So we've got Biden now admitting that he said we got to put a bullseye on Donald Trump, and he's apologised for it.
On a call a week ago, you said it's time to put Trump in the bullseye. There's some dispute about the context, but I think you appreciate that
I didn't say
words
crosshairs. I was talking about focus on. Look, the truth of the matter was, what I guess I was talking about at the time was, there was very little focus on Trump's agenda.
Yeah, the term is bullseye.
It was a mistake to use the word. I didn't say crosshairs. I meant bullseye. I meant focus on him. Focus on what he's doing. Focus on his policies. Focus on the number of lies he told in the debate.
It's gone, isn't it? It's gone.
Look, I think Biden's a disgrace, not least because of his mass slaughter, which he's armed of the Palestinian people. And indeed, the enthusiasm gap between the two is partly because a lot of natural Democrat supporters are angry over Gaza. But look, don't both sides this. This is ludicrous. In the last 10 years or so, over 60% of all extremist-related violence in the United States has been perpetrated by right-wing extremists, followed, number two, by Islamist extremists on about 20%, followed by the left about 10%, and that includes anarchists and black nationalists. There was not an equivalence, okay, at all.
I don't think it matters about percentages. I think ultimately free speech is free speech, and I don't blame Trump for January 6th. I also don't blame Biden for that shooting. Only those people can be blamed for acting in such horrendous
So
ways.
you don't think people can incite?
Hang on. There's so much to get through here. There was someone on Twitter yesterday, and I retweeted this, saying, have a look. There's no point in voting, just swear him in. That's how powerful this image is of the guy, the bullet hits his ear and he straight away stands up and shouts, fight. So he does still have critics, though, and but they're getting themselves into trouble because once someone's been the target of an assassination attempt, they get a little bit of extra protection. So Jack Black, the comedian, has got into bother because of this. Have a look.
Make a wish, Canada. Don't miss Trump next time.
So his bandmate Kyle Gass says it's your birthday, make a wish, and Jack Black says don't miss Trump next time.
Well,
it's a joke.
I mean, it's a comedian. Comedians make off-colour jokes all the time. What I would say is Donald Trump incited an insurrection in which 5 people died on January the 6th, 2021. He did incite that. When Nancy Pelosi's husband was attacked by a hammer in an assassination attempt by right-wing extremists, he went and joked about it. Look, he joked about it.
Yeah,
well, there we go. The
fact
is he incites violence. He incites right-wing extremists. He called far-right neo-Nazis. He said he described them as fine men. I can't remember. There are fine people on both sides.
Okay.
I think
it's ludicrous.
Really unfair. I don't think you can say you've got to apply this both to Biden and to Trump. If you're saying that Trump incited January 6th, then you've got to exactly the same apply that same logic to Biden and say that Biden incited that man to try.
Talking about something figuratively, a bullseye, and openly calling for people to overturn the results.
He didn't openly call for an insurrection.
Okay, we've got to move on, guys. Thank you. We've got more questions to ask.